Hello, hello. Am I here? Shit. Sorry, man. I just wasn't prepared. Hmm. Are we on? We are on. Welcome, welcome. This is Sunday in the Keys, and I'm taking us further down the road in Matthew. Um, the thing that I was doing last time, I had this little thing clipped right here so you could read it, but I was wanting you guys to see it because nobody ever wants to go and do their homework and go find these things. So I thought, well, let's do a camera or video of this guy doing the story himself. Let me tell you, it was hard listening to him, kind of tell the story, and it happens to me a couple of times. I've heard the story. I'm going to find the other one and show it to you as well. But these this there's nothing other than like Edgar Casey or these kind of prophets that actually would have some kind of a vision of future end time things, or just events that people could consider as end times. But we haven't had that kind of historical thing chiseled out in on anything. You know, people are basically saying that the largest pyramid is a living monument to time because of how the way the sloping of this means so many feet per inches or something like that means so many years and such, and it has where there's been these cataclysms and stuff like that, maybe with cataclysms, but not where someone's had a world war and stuff like that. There's none of that, where there's no one working off the clock with something like that. It's not nature. It's hardly natural at all. But there are times and events in the world, like, if we're getting ready to have this little mini ice age, this kind of pisses off some of these people who were trying to start making money out of thin air. We're about to be taxed for the air that we breathe by following along with this carbon tax. I'm not shitting you. I mean, it's just funny because we usually laugh. I think I was a kid and said, well, one day they're going to make up something where we'll have to pay for the very air that we breathe. And listen, I don't care what side of this fence you want to sit on when it comes to global warming. While everything's freezing around us, it's not the best season to be talking about global warming. When everyone is freezing over more than they've ever froze before, but they'll contribute that to global warming, you know. But anyways, so it's just funny that it's our conscience that's been attacked here, and the only way to guard against this kind of frontal assault on our intelligence is to go by the way, honor mother and father, and fix it up. This has been the simple tool that has been handed down to us in hiding, in secret, for since the beginning of time. That these teachers, these characters that come out and tell us later on through the stories, through these wonderful epic stories, the fight between good and evil, that if you were able to go and look inside and see all these numbers, it's so important that you had 10 of these and 12 of those and 15 of that and 6 of those and all of that, once you found out, wow, there's a code, they're hiding something on us, and then you find it, find out the whole world is following the lie, and you become the one turd in the cesspool of ours that's wiggled himself up to the top and said, it kind of stinks in here. But this is the world that we live in, and it's our world, And so, I would like to tell you guys that if we make it up, this is not the way I would make it to be. This is not how I would see it. In my world, there would be some definite changes. But no. Anyways, what we do is we've been following a code from a particular 1 through 9, and with individual meanings to them. And this last story that I gave you was representing the 4. And the stories that show 4 in them are the musicians, the 4 musicians. Cinderella is also, the 3 wicked people would be the 2 daughters and the stepmother, right? Her 2 daughters, and then of course, she's on her own. She sits by the hearth, by the fire. Um, and the 4 musicians, all they had to do was all get together. And once they all got into accord, they made it into this room of this den where the thieves were, and were able to take it over and became this place, became it. And then later on, the thieves tried to take the place back over again, and this would have been like 9. Hell no. This is no longer yours. This is no longer a den of thieves. This is no longer a place for you to sell doves. There's no room for you here. No, this is the money changers. This is that place that gets changed by Jesus in the last story. All right, so we're going to go on from here. We're going to go into the next part. I'm going to X you down. So I'm going to start, Helen Keller. All right, a little retarded, but let's see. I'm going to minus you down. Matthew 22. Matthew 22 is about worlds. All right. 4 becomes a 4, so it will have something to do with traveling, of course, we know it's going to have something to do with traveling, all right, because that's what they're doing right now. And you have to understand that when Jesus is speaking and stuff like that, and they say he's speaking in parables, he's always speaks in parables. He only speaks in parables. The reason why is because when we're listening to Jesus speak, he's not the man, he's spirit. All these things, when people are in spirit, Jesus ain't there. But when he does speak, it speaks to people and speaks to the group of people. He's in spirit, because that's the only way these guys speak to people. And so it has to be in a parable. It has to be hidden, because that's the difference between someone who's being alive and someone being in spirit. You have the physical something, and so you'll hear it mouth to mouth. This is Jesus, God speaking to Moses mouth to mouth. It's kind of strange stuff. But anyways, I'm not going to detour you on this. The number 22 represents 4, all right, which means something about traveling or something about. Let's see what happens. So we're going to find out about it. That's be the first, second, and third phases of the words. Give us the overall meaning for this chapter. All right. And Jesus answered and spake unto them again by parables, and said, The kingdom of heaven is like unto a certain king, which made a marriage of his son, or made a marriage for his son. And 3, and sent forth his servants to call them that were bidden to the wedding, and they would not come. 4, again he sent forth other servants, saying, Tell them which are bidden, Behold, I have prepared my dinner, my oxen and my fatlings are killed, and all things are ready, come into the marriage. But they made light of it, and went their way, one to his farm, another to his merchandise. This is number 5. I'm going to stop here for a second, because 5 is you. 5 is the skin. So 1 went to the farm, that's the tiller, all right, of earth. The other one is his merchandise. This is where your spiritual side is your merchandise. This is, well, because you have to drop everything to follow Jesus. So if you don't drop everything, then you have a whole lot of something, and this is where your heart is, all right, on your merchandise. Number 6. And the remnant took his servants and entreated them spitefully, slew them. And 7. And when the king heard thereof he was wroth, and he sent forth his armies and destroyed those murderers and burned up their city. Then saith to his servants, the wedding is ready, but those which were bidden were not worthy. And 9, go ye therefore into the highways, and many as ye find, bid to the marriage. All right. They're going to start all over again with 10. So this is that, we've heard of several parables so far. But when he sent some people in to get fruit from his orchard last time, or his vineyard, and they got smited and stuff. This is the same thing. And so he said, what is this? And he went and he killed all this and destroyed them. And I guess the marriage, he did this so fast. This is like zip, zip. And they talk about it being like the same day. So anyway, being spiteful, he took out these people and burned their city. This is the same thing as coming to the fig tree and finding no fruit on it. Boom! Took care of that. That way, he says, I'm tired. This coming to this part where there's no fruit. I'm making a change on this, and so we popped this out and told these guys to go to the highway. This is the highway to grab anybody. All right, just bring anyone into this here. This is the gathering. Remember, they have to have this gathering as part of the story. And of course, this is the way the code works. All right, now 10, starting all over again. So the servants went out into the highways and gathered together as many as they found, both bad and good. And the wedding was furnished with guests. Number 11. And when the king came to see the guest, he saw there a man which had not a wedding garment. And he said unto him, Friend, how camest thou in hither, not having a wedding garment? And he was speechless. Then he said to the servants, Bind him hand and foot, take them away, cast them into the outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. That's number 13. And 14. For many are called, but few are chosen. All right. Should we get going? Yeah, let's wait for that one there. Let's wait for 15. All right. For many are called, and few are chosen. This is beautiful. I used to always think this is for the priesthood, that if you went for priesthood and then you didn't pass, that many are called and a few are chosen, so you would get out of this lucky easy job of brainwashing other people into the cult. But anyways, I'm glad I didn't go that route, but came really close. And it says the man that came in without the wedding garment. The wedding garment is actually this idea of, coming naked, And so anyways, he had him bound. This is just what you're doing anyways. You're, many are called, few are chosen. So in the group, there was one of these guys that didn't make the cut. It's what that means. Or you can look at it as being us, because when we come up there, we are this man, and we go through this, we go through this smiting, which is the part about judging us, But you have to also remember, this is where people say, I got to dress correctly. But, in other sayings, it says, you have to render your heart and not your garments, It means to reveal your heart, not where you're supposed to come naked, You're supposed to come naked, free as a breeze. 15. Then went the Pharisees and took counsel, and how they might entangle him in his talk. And they sent out unto him their disciples with the Herodians, saying, Master, we know that thou art true, and teachest us the way of God in truth, Neither carest thou for any man, because, he cares more for the spirit. For you regardest not the person of man. All right, so I just said that. He really, he's in touch with the spirit side, not the skin side. All right. Tell us therefore, what thinkest thou? Is it lawful to give tribute unto Caesar or not? And Jesus perceived their wickedness and said, why tempt me, ye hypocrites? Show me the tribute money. And they brought unto him a penny. This is number 19, which is the beginning. Then he saith unto them, who is this image in this in the subscription? Said this, and he said unto him, Caesar's. It saith unto him, render therefore unto Caesar things which are Caesar's, and unto God those things which are God. This is 3. Number 21. This was his answer to these guys' questions. And when they heard these words, they marveled and left him and went their way. That's 4. And they went their way. This is always about traveling on those numbers. So they went there. So 23. The same day to him the Sadducees. The Sadducees are those that don't believe in resurrection. And they asked him, saying, Master, Moses said, if a man die, having no children, his brother shall marry his wife, and raise up the seed unto his brother. Number 25. Now there were with us 7 brethren, and the first, which had married a wife, died, and having no issue, left his wife unto his brother. Likewise, the second also, and the third, unto the 7th. I wanted you to see how they listen. When he took the wife, he died. When they take things from the lower, they die. When they take on this wife is considered the lower side. This is this idea that none of those motherfuckers are doing the way. None of them are serving mother and father. So, and this is where this idea, plus you're getting the 7th chakra, where every one of these guys dies in the end, where the wife dies and leaves everybody. It's just an odd way of working this. Look, it says here, this is number 26, 7, 8. So it represents 8. It's a control. Likewise, the second, also the third, unto the 7th. And the last of all the women died also. So they're showing that both sides are dying. All right. Therefore, in this resurrection, his wife shall be the 7th. All right. For they all had her. Jesus answered and said unto them, ye do err, not knowing the scriptures, nor the power of God. This is 30. For in the resurrection they neither marry nor are given in marriage, but are as angels of God in heaven. 31. But as touching the resurrection of the dead, have ye not read that which was spoken unto you by God, saying, I am the God of Abraham, and the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob? God is not the God of the dead, but of the living. And when the multitude heard this, they were astonished at his doctrine. But when the Pharisees had heard that he had put the Sadducees to silence, they were gathered together. And one of them, which was a lawyer, asked him a question, tempting him and saying, Master, which is the great commandment in the law? And Jesus said unto him, Thou shalt love thy Lord thy God with all thy heart and all thy soul and all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment, and the second is like unto it. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets. While the Pharisees were gathered together, Jesus asked them, saying, What ye think of Christ? Whose son is he? They say unto him, The son of David. Number 43, he saith unto them, How then doth David in spirit call him Lord, saying, The Lord said unto my Lord, Sit thou on my right hand, till I make thine enemies thy footstool. If David then called him Lord, how is he his son? And no man was able to answer him a word, neither durst any man from that day forth ask him any more questions. All right, well, at least not in this particular part of the story, they're not. Jesus was just discounting the idea that he was the son of anybody's, all right, other than God, all right. This son of David business, this right here recants any idea that Jesus was the son of any of these people, or the son of David, that he was the son of anyone other than God. All right. And in reality, when we did his genealogy pool, we found out that we were him, that we wind up being Jesus. We are made in his image. We're made in God's image with the mother and father, right? Uh, Elohim, our lower and higher conscious. And we've been given this way to get up there and reach them by their son, by Jesus, this character of the spine. And because the symbolic death of the body and the mind, in the rebirth of the soul and the restoration of Israel, represents this walk on this other side, using the Kundalini and all these things that we teach and that is taught from this Bible, the spirit of the text, through its spirit, we find that it's a change of mind is all this is asking for from us. They were gathered together. I don't know what all else to say about this one here, but this idea of the marriage ceremonies, is bringing people to this particular place, finding that those people were, there you are, finding that those people were unworthy, which is the skin is unworthy anyways. This is the side, this is the brethren, which is always getting smited. Even when he says, I'll get you, feeds them some food and they get sick from the food. And whatever, this wiping out, kicking out of this other side is really what this whole business is going towards. This passion is that, you have to go through this. He hasn't even gone through the abuse himself, but this is traveling. Number 4, and along the way, he has smited things that were not working correctly. He has done this all along as he has made his trips, trip into Jerusalem, where this death is going to happen, and this is up in our skull, Golgotha. This is where this separation takes place. It's in the skull, all right? But anyways, this was just some fun reading, showing you it's about number 4 again, and 4 is about traveling. Even on number 22 down below, once these guys heard what they wanted, they moved on. They're moving on. Everyone's moving on. But they starting to piss these Pharisees off, knowing ahead of time that that when they called them hypocrites is because later on you'll hear, I think it's in the next couple of chapters, says, hey, listen, they sit in Moses' seat, but they do not do it. They say one thing, they don't do it. So don't do after them. Don't follow them. So this is Jesus telling everybody, don't follow them. They say one thing and do another. That they are not following the ways. Those are hypocrites. Those are people that say they do but don't. All right. It's pretty simple stuff, you know. But we'll move on through the next part of this chapter. So let's see, what is it? This is, we'll find out. I love you guys. Take care of yourselves. All right. Best to you.